One bad tenant can sour a whole entire property. One bad tenant. He was losing his mind over that.
Yeah.
Holy, we gotta get this guy out of here. Whew.
This is the first time we went somewhere and seen a tenant go that crazy.
I've never seen that happen.
You never seen that?
Nope. Guys, check it out. We got police officers here. We actually have 4 police officers here in San Angelo, Texas. Literally, I've been on site less than maybe 15 minutes. We drove 3.5 hours here today. This is a property, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 buildings here. We own 6 buildings, totaling 43 units, I believe, and an office. Today we have a pretty serious situation. We have a tenant that we inherited. Not only did we get the property on seller finance, but we got all the tenants on seller finance too. We had took over all the tenants. We've got a tenant that a couple weeks ago actually had to be arrested and pulled down. 5 officers had to pull him down and take him down to the station. So we've got a couple of tenants who have mental illness in this property. We're working on the process of helping them move on to a different chapter of their life. And today we had a tenant, let's call him, his name is 604, unit 604. So building 6 on the, or whatever it is, 604. He was, I guess, going into the property next door and going in and stealing people's stuff. He is from MHMR. Today, I'm just gonna do a whole kind of vlog style, walking through the property. What do we do when I come visit properties? That's what this video is about, is why do I go visit my properties? What are we doing on site today? You're gonna see a 43 unit apartment complex that we purchased on seller finance last summer, and we got really great terms on it. We got 3% interest, 50-year terms. We have 6, 7 vacant today, so look out for this little playlist that we'll make. We'll make a YouTube video that is, what is an asset manager? Why do you need them? What do they do? Not only did we get the property on seller finance, but we got all the problems on seller finance, right? You take over a property, then what? What do you do after you take over a property? That's what the video today is gonna be all about. We'll see you in the next clip. James, what's the best one for us to go look at that's vacant?
The fire.
Okay.
And also the one with the lady that was removed because of the boyfriend. Okay, let's do that one.
Oh yeah, let's look at those. We're gonna do a little bit of vlog style today, so just bear with us. So I bought this property 6, 7 months ago, and I bought it for $3 million, but I didn't have to actually come out of pocket any money, which is pretty cool. These 6 buildings that I bought, totaling 43 units, got them on seller finance, which is pretty amazing that I could buy a whole property like this on seller finance. But when you take over a property, you take over the problems. So let's go check out the problems. MHMR, do they pay less money in rent?
They don't pay less, it's just that it gets paid by that program. And sometimes it's a half and half, sometimes it's a portion of it, sometimes it's a full amount.
Okay, so this is a little small tidbit on this. Why would you not want to rent to somebody from a government assistance program? This is a really great example why. Quality of tenant, and also just because the government's paying you and you don't have to worry about the rent, well, guess what? One bad tenant makes 3 good tenants want to leave. You have to look at this multiple different ways. Do I want to help people? Yeah, I do want to help people. But really what I want to help is I want to help people that are paying their freaking rent feel like they have a safe, comfortable place to live without worrying about another person that I'm trying to help just because I want consistent rent. People ask me this all the time. Why aren't you doing more Section 8? Why aren't you doing more government programs? This is why. Because 4 police officers have to show up and we still can't evict them because we have to go through now MHMR's program to evict them. We can't just go through the regular process.
Yeah, we need to wait.
James, you got our back today or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay, James is my bodyguard today. All right, let's go see the property. James, you do handyman stuff for this other property just north of us?
Yes, sir.
Christy and James are on both properties, so we share property manager and
awesome, okay.
maintenance.
And do they have some of the same problems?
Yes. Most definitely. He didn't care who he rented to, long as he got paid.
But it's my understanding, James, that on the other property, they're also going through the same cleanup process, right? Like they're removing some.
Okay, so this building has how many units in it? 8?
Yes.
So we've got 43 units, right?
It's 40.
40.
But only 39 are rented or
Okay.
are for rent because one is the office and it was divided. So
Okay, got
I was
it.
talking to Christy. It's either we go fully into the office and we make it a big office with a waiting area and
This one is terrible.
this was a fire. Lady was still living here even after the condition was like this. So it had to be removed. We moved her to another apartment. Right now I have been waiting on technically insurance money because Mario wanted to do it the way that he wanted to put his hands and be the one remodeling. Since now we're closing, I talked to him and I told him that I cannot wait anymore. And what I would need is a refund on what that insurance paid, and then we will take care of it. She's gonna start looking for somebody to come and help with that.
Is the air conditioning not working in these units? Is that why you have the window
We
units?
have the window units.
Man, this is a big unit.
It is. They're large.
That's where the fire started, right there on the stove. They left something on the stove and burnt the stove and
Okay.
refrigerator up.
So we got an insurance claim here. Do we know what the insurance claim is paying?
They're paying $9,600 and some.
Wow, that ain't.
Now we're requiring to have renter's insurance. So she had renter's insurance.
This unit will rent for how much money?
This one is at 2, right? It's gonna be $950 once we get it to be upgraded.
Okay, so once it's cleaned up, ready to go, this will be $950 a month?
Yes, yesterday I went and visited personally different sites. So I've seen the one that I want to model after, and they're charging $950 for a 2. That's what I'm going for.
This property's been sitting, is this the worst property that we have?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This is the worst.
This is not that bad. I'm sure you've seen worse.
Yeah, it's a 1-bedroom. It needs rehab too, but it's not worse than this one is.
So this is our biggest size unit. Is a 2-bed, 1-bath?
We have a 3
Okay.
2 as well, but we don't have anything to show on those. They're all occupied.
Okay, and how much are we renting those for?
Those are, right now, they're at $950, my understanding, but we're gonna go to $1,075.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. How many are vacant right now?
Technically, it's 7 plus another 3, 10. With a minor touch-up, could be rented at a lower rate, or we can go and remodel all those 10 that we have right now available and immediately go into the higher rent that we want.
Are the remodel stuff that you're gonna be doing?
I'm gonna be doing the majority of it.
Can we go see one of those units that just need a...
Touch-up, yeah?
Yeah, let's
do
go
that.
see that. Is our biggest issue that we're in San Angelo, or is the biggest issue just that Mario didn't really care about screening tenants? Or is the other big issue that he was never really improving the units too?
I think it's a mix of situations, and the fact that this property went to the point that it is right now and it has not been taken care of. The quality of tenants that will be renting is at a certain level. But when I was told that there's we cannot do any more because of the area where we are and nobody will pay that, that's when I decided to go and drive around. I found this property and people are paying. They're almost full. So you have the people that will pay that.
We're just not attractive.
We're just not attractive to them.
For me personally, if I was a tenant here, one of the first things I would care about is the windows being dual pane windows. And because there's only 6 windows on each property, I almost feel like we should be going through, every time we do one of these units, we should be replacing the windows in the sliding glass door.
The sliding doors will need to be replaced in all units within the next probably 2 years. They're already giving up. You see them sliding and being out of balance or out of alignment. That's something that we need to consider in all units anyway. On this one, we had a similar issue. Was Section 8. Things got out of control, ended up creating holes all over the place, ripped that door open and made holes.
James?
Yes.
Do you know how to replace windows?
Yes. I do a little bit of everything.
So we've got a tenant that's already hey, I'll rent it as is.
Oh no, not this one. This one we need to fix, renovate, paint.
Okay, my feeling is on carpet, I feel like carpet for a unit like this is gonna be probably $1,800 for carpet, and you're just gonna have to replace it in a year. Why don't we just do the nice,
LVP.
LVP?
That's what we're going with. Because the first time that I talked to Christy was like, nobody's gonna, that's not a San Angelo thing. And I went to that unit, I'm gonna show you what I recorded as a video. They have LVP, they have granite, and it's not fancy, it's just granite.
What's the next step on this unit?
We need to get into budget for renovation, which I was waiting all this to closing. I talked to Molly, we have talked about what the plans are.
I would rather spend the money on the windows, the LVP.
These right here, the cabinets gotta come out of this one.
This one was renting for how much money?
This was $625.
$625.
Okay, so if we add the LVP, we switch out the slider and the windows, we do the...
They are charging $850 for those.
$850, okay.
We technically are on the new ones for 1 bedrooms is $725, but we're gonna bump it up once we make them all nice to $850.
I'd probably put a budget together of maybe $15,000 to $18,000, and I'd say LVP, everything semi-gloss white, no tint at all, everywhere. And then that way, no matter what unit we touch up for the next 20 years, 30 years, it's always the same paint that's touching up. So semi-gloss, trim, walls, ceiling, doors, everything semi-gloss.
And
Sounds good.
I would do cabinets, cheap countertops, new appliances.
the one that I told Chrissy yesterday to start with is the one with the fire. And the first unit that we renovate, that's the one that we're offering to the courtesy officer.
Okay.
So we can have him move right away.
All right.
And then he's gonna be part of the cleanup process. Then we start renovating and bringing new people.
A guy like Mario, he's making good money. He has no bills on this other than taxes and insurance. So I think when I bought it, he was rented out 35 of the units at the time. He was 4 or 5 units were vacant. So he's bringing in roughly $28,000 to $29,000 a month. It's bro, why aren't you going through and fixing up 1 unit a month. And within 24 months, 30 months, you'd have this entire place all spick and span.
It's mindset.
Yeah, mindset. It's like, how do I just live on the money and not reinvest back into my property?
Correct. Because you cannot see what that's going to cost in the future. And when you cannot see the consequences, you act just on today.
Going to 701.
Okay.
Perfect. That's the one that is the office storage. He has had it vacant for 2 years as a storage unit.
What?
I know.
It's because he's doing all the work himself.
And right now, in reality, with the prices that he had, he probably was bringing closer to 24 to 26 with the vacancies and whatever that he had, but it was about 26.
Okay.
Doing renovations and everything that we're talking about, we can probably bump it up to 34,225 minus putting a 7% vacancy, which is already on the high end. Considering that, we're talking about 31,829.
Once we rent it out.
Once we start renting the new units and we go with that. That's immediately putting us, expenses in
payments
here
in
is
Mario?
about, Mario payments will be 11,300 and some.
Okay.
And our expenses are about 6,000 to 7,000, depending on the month, electricity, gas, whatever. But let's say it's 7,000. We're talking about 18,000 total payment and expenses. We're talking about 31,000. So we're going to be cash flowing once we
Yeah,
do
this
that.
will be making probably 13 grand a month, which we would probably for a while just reinvest the 13 grand right back into the
Correct,
property, yeah.
especially when we're on the process of all the
Okay,
renovation
very
and everything.
Cool. Okay, so just a couple of pet peeves when we go and renovate these things that contractors just don't do. Like, I know this is a Mario thing, but he's over here putting quarter round.
Yes.
It's like, bro, just remove the baseboard. Like, where are you actually saving any money? You're not saving any. This is the dumbest thing ever. Okay, so this is baseboard right here, the top one, and then this is quarter round right here. And what it is people put quarter round down because you got your baseboard, and then people put their floor up against the baseboard, and then there's like this weird little gap there, and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna put the quarter round to cover that up. It's like, why wouldn't you just remove the old baseboard, put the flooring up against the wall, and then put the baseboard on top? Well, because Mario's justification is,
It's
well,
more
I'm gonna
expensive.
save money.
That's it.
What? You don't save any money doing that. I know this is maybe a little overboard, but these units are always really dim lit. Because, you know, can lights now are like $6 on Amazon. They're so cheap. I wonder if we take the same light, put a box for, you know, a fan, if somebody wants to put a fan in here themselves, but put 4 can lights in all the bedrooms, because it's like, for the material cost, it's $25, right? So the labor is obviously cutting in the holes, running the wire. But if you're already scraping the drywall here anyway, and you have to repair the drywall, why aren't we just adding 4 can lights, adding 2 lights? What I find with tenants is that when the property's really well lit, they don't beat them up as much. But when they're dark, you attract a very dark kind of tenant. I think for these units, we gotta add those LED can lights in every room. Let's get rid of all this kind of stuff. No more
No
of this.
more of those, just switches.
Yeah, no more of that. And I don't want any, I call them booby lights. Like, no more of those. Same thing here. I would get rid of these stupid things and just put a can light right here. Then that way you'll never have to replace a light bulb. You'll never have to replace any of the fixtures. If somebody breaks this thing, like, look how ugly that thing is. Same thing in here. It's like you get rid of the booby light and you put 2 can lights in here. So the kitchen is really well lit. And then you put maybe 2 can lights in the dining space. And then you probably put 4 in here. And then you give them a box for the ceiling fan if they decide they want to put a ceiling fan in here. That doesn't really cost much, but now all of a sudden you get rid of all these cheap little things and it looked really nice when somebody walks in and go, damn, I got can lights in this little thing? It's like a couple $100. New windows for sure. The windows are probably the worst part about this unit. I love the brick buildings though.
I was thinking of a cool exterior. I was talking to Chrissy yesterday about putting more grass, have some areas where we can put some rocks, and then try to get a paint that is gonna go really cool with the brick.
Love it.
And change the green that we have right now. So that's gonna be the exterior. Once we have a few units that have been renovated, we can get into that to attract people with that.
Mario is using this as a storage unit?
For 2 years.
I don't have a problem us using this as a storage unit while we renovate the other properties, but I imagine if we hire another contractor, they probably are gonna come in and knock it out really fast. They're like, we don't need this. Other than when you say something like, we're gonna order all the appliances at one time, we're gonna order all the countertops, all the cabinets all at one time, we're gonna have them all on site. You know what we should do? Is we should probably just go to Home Depot, all the flooring, all the baseboard, all the can lights, all the appliances, all the cabinets, all the countertops, sinks, like literally buy all the materials, and then just tell a contractor to come in here and just charge us labor. You know what I'm saying?
can do that.
Not that it really matters, but we could probably save $10,000, maybe $20,000 in material costs, and the contractor wouldn't upcharge us anything on the material costs.
And we have a bunch of carts. Remember that you sent us, Molly and myself?
Yeah, I got like $7,000. What you can do is you can just have Home Depot ship it to you in a storage locker, and they just drop it right here on the property, and then every time the contractor's ready to pull something from it,
they just take it, yeah. So let's go and show the one that the guy rented yesterday. So we have a plumbing issue between these two buildings.
Okay.
That's something that they're gonna get going on. Christy was waiting because she was told not to resolve it.
Okay.
Now I gave her to go and figure it out what it is before it becomes a bigger problem. So this is the guide. So apparently it's just gonna be a little bit of a
For how much?
cleanup. Let's see, $725?
Okay. Okay, so when we do these units, what I would do also is I would switch out all the outlets, get rid of these ugly outlets, switch out the baseboard, the LVP go to the wall, baseboard on top. Doors are probably...
The standard way that we do all our construction.
Do we feel like we need to replace the doors in here?
Yes, there's some that are worse than others. This one probably doesn't look the worst, but there's some that are very beat up.
So if we replace a door, we need to replace the jamb.
Yes.
Because what I don't like is you'll get a contractor who tries to save money and he just comes in here and daps the door. It makes it match the old hinge. We just got to take these all the way out completely. Yeah. It sounds like we don't need to renovate this whole unit.
No, this one is already rented and could be the ones that are waiting till the end. We need to have income coming while we do the project. You see how the situation is on Corpus. It's like we already had so much vacancy that it's like, okay, let's go all full into moving, but I'm not going to get the place vacant just to renovate. We need to continue the income coming and then keep cleaning the place and go from there.
We got a bad tenant on the property right now. If you look at this guy here in the plaid with the gray hair, he's actually complaining. He's like, dude, I can't live in this. I can't be around this. One bad tenant can sour whole entire property. So this guy's coming out here, threatening people, and he's trying to attack this woman, basically egging people on, saying, I'll beat your ass, that's my girlfriend. He just barely saw this girl. So her name is Sonia. She's one of my students. She's like, hey, can I come walk the property with you? And I had a weird feeling. I was like, I'll just see you at the meetup. I'll see you at the meetup. She's like, no, I want to come and hang out. I'm like, I don't know that you want to come hang out on these properties. This is one of those things of like, do you really want to be a property owner? Here's the problem. Normally I could kick him out. There's such thing as called an emergency eviction, but that's when I have a regular tenant. But because Mario, the previous property owner, took him on as government assistance tenant, the government won't let us kick him out unless we go through a very long process to get him kicked out. So it's this double-edged sword. It's like, okay, well, yeah, he has guaranteed rent that comes in from the government, and the government's like, yo, we're giving you guaranteed rent, therefore, you can't just kick him out whenever you want. If he was a regular tenant, he would have been gone last time he got arrested. He got arrested. It took 5 police officers to pull that guy down. That's how aggressive he is.
Yeah, he's a dummy. He got some serious mental issues.
And he's so attracted to Sonia. Boy is losing his mind. Oh, he followed. So we walked all the way up there. We meandered around. We got around. He just trudging along trying to catch us. And he's like, I need to talk to those ladies over there. I'm like, they don't work here, man. What do you need to talk to them for? He's like, that one's my girl. I'm like, oh, she get you off the property. So that's why I told Heidi and Sonia, I was like, go in the office and lock the door. And he just stood right here next to the door going, I'm waiting for them to come out. You feel like you want to buy a property yet? Does this get you excited?
This is the first time we went somewhere and seen a tenant go that crazy.
I've never seen that happen.
You never seen that?
Nope. Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Really great meeting you. Thank you. Thank you so much.